Alright, House Rivaldi probably has one of the most complicated encounters that could be run in this entire campaign. Challenge rating 20 with about 10 unique NPCs. They're demons, they're clerics, there's a vampire with a dread wraith who she cut and ran.
Yeah.
The first thing is, hey, I'm an ancient vampire, not gonna mess around. But lots of bad guys, there are guards throughout the house. They went around the guards by sneaking in through back windows and everything else.
We got, the floor plans from
from
Town Hall or something?
Yeah, Town Hall, because, hey, they're nobles in the party, they can do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then, the best thing ever, because Tefran Rivaldi, who's this corrupted noble, who works very closely with Valantir, was going on this huge rant, and then finally, goes about, all the things they're doing with this prison plane of Kasseri, which, if you look at it, you realize, oh, this prison plane is kind of a mutilated form of carceration, because it's a prison plane. Names, what can you do? Anyway, so she's going on this huge speech, and then she's like, and there's one group in particular that has been nipping at my master's heels for far too long. Your organizations have tangled with them before. You know what I speak of. I trust that, as your first service to the cage right, you could see that these meddling gnats with all possible haste are eliminated to. These foul Electrum Knights.
I decide this is the perfect opportunity. Kick in the door. Did I cast Enthrall when I did that at the same time?
No, you cast Protection from Evil.
Oh, I cast Protection from Evil, yeah. I came in, laid down the staff which had the Protection from Evil circle, on it. And just basically now it's like, hi everyone! I'm glad we came by. We were in the area and you're all gonna die. It's great.
And then Rivaldi, and this is what I said. It was like, well, shit. And then combat.
Yeah.
This is around the time that Eamon really showed the devastation effects of druids. There was one spell from a supplement.
Oh, is this from the Ice Tomb?
What is it? Yes,
Entomb.
Ice Tomb.
Yeah.
Entomb from, looking at my shelf now, Frostburn. That's it.
Yeah. Because they make a save to see if they're frozen. And if they're not frozen, they take a bunch of d6 damage.
Yeah, so that one spell wiped out a good chunk of people, and then they went around just slaughtering right and left. This was before I found out that it took diamonds glaring at Fang's player to cast the spell, because huge waste.
I was holding on to diamonds. He wasn't getting my diamonds.
Yeah.
I need those reds, more important.
So, slaughtered through the entire encounter really quick, and I'm like, huh, that went down easy. And that's really when the party was like, you know what? Now we need to go after Valantir.
Oh, yeah. And we kept eyes on him the entire campaign. At one point, what was it that someone looked in a mirror?
Yes, because there's the scrying mirror in Cran Crawl. Forgot to mention that major important plot point. I did a roll to see what they were scrying because they were a Valantir. And they saw Valantir get into a simulacrum human suit, which is basically like a rubber bodysuit that makes you look like a certain person. And they found out that Valantir is a beholder, and they're like, he was a beholder the entire time? We were joking when we said that. And it was hilarious.
They were joking, occasionally allowed, in public. Because we sometimes forgot we were in public and just started a conversation.
But after annihilating almost all of the minions of the Cage Rights at that one party, they were like, we need to take out Valantir.
Yeah.
So they snuck around. Laushin did his whole thing with sneaking around and spying in. And Hannah was really getting into playing her spy character. And for clear confusion, Hannah always played male characters in this campaign. It's just something she did, which I don't care. Although we kept calling Laushin a girl.
Yeah.
And
Lotion.
Yeah. And Grayson was hitting on Laushin at one point. Because he thought he was a girl because it was played by a girl.
Wait. We didn't. No, not Grayson. New character.
New character. Who seriously looked at me and said, his name is Voltorb. And I said, and I'm going to hit you with this book.
Wait, what did you make him? A crusade? What was it called?
I did some fancy work. He was a sorcerer, paladin, spellblade. And I created some feats so he could have the sorcerer part be sanctified and, stack with paladin levels and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, some paladin didn't listen to a thing I said.
Yeah, and strangely enough, I was worried about it being kind of a little but it worked well. And it wasn't overpowered. And it was kind of fun.
It wasn't overpowered until we started getting all of the weapons.
Yeah. we started getting a lot of random holy weapons.
So we hit Valentrie's place.
Yeah, hit Valentrie's place. Took out some guards, bribed some other ones, found some statues. And they were like, what if these guys are adventurers?
Yeah, we didn't go upstairs first. We went downstairs.
Yeah. Well, it's because when Laoshin scouted the upstairs...
Oh, because they held all the little mini beholder...
Yeah, the mini beholders.
Things, which it's we don't want to fuck with that.
No.
So... Went downstairs, all the statues, so,
he brought one out.
Yeah, I brought one out. He was like, oh my god, I've been in there for so long, my party, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well then. And we discussed what we're going to do.
How's Zazardoon?
Yes, how's Zazardoon?
They all vanished. They vanished from the vanishing. What's that? And then they explained that the entire Gnomish civilization vanished from a spell disease.
Yeah. So that was like. So we discussed for a while what to do. Then we're like, okay, head out. But we said head out, and then I sent Jenya a message, I think.
Yep.
Of everything to do. So we had talked. Had we talked to the other guild yet? Or not yet?
You guys were in communication.
Because I can't remember if the leader talked to us before or after we down to the Cage Rites or not.
You had very brief interactions with Far Striders. Or Long Striders, or whatever their name is. Long Striders. Yeah. Just didn't have much to do with that group.
But we basically sent a message of, we're going down here to deal with this.
Striders are Farline.
Okay.
That's what they are.
And so we asked her to employ the Striders and the clerics and all them to clear out the upstairs while we're down at the stairs doing that.
Yep.
And I think also told them about the people petrified.
Yep. And they also found nails.
Yeah.
Which they were excited about, and they brought them back really quick.
And I think we had an extra person in order to even play nails too. Or did someone die and they had to play nails?
I can't remember.
Something
was
Georgiana died eventually.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
Georgiana characters died and then took over nails for a bit.
Yeah.
But no, she took over lotion.
Oh. Yeah, because Hannah wanted to pick up nails again.
Because Hannah loved nails. For whatever reason, she got really emotionally attached. And she was really broken up when he got turned to stone and they couldn't get him back. But she had nails back. Everyone was happy. I even was like, you know what? What the heck? I'll throw you some levels so you're on par with the rest of the party. Because I could be a nice guy. Okay, and she might have wished for it.
So we head downstairs.
And fight some zombies, which had demons embedded inside of them. Yeah. Which, that was a fun surprise.
It was in between these two encounters that we leveled again.
Yeah.
And I got anti-magic field through my domain.
Yeah.
At which point we get to the... Are we at the portrait yet? After the demon zombies?
No. Okay. Because you had the Oblivion doors.
Oh, right.
There are some doors in Lord Valentrie's estate which make a lot of sense for a beholder to have. Because normal people can't get by them. You can't really pick the lock efficiently. And you need to use a certain spell on it that corresponds to a beholder eye ray to open it. One hand, logical that he'd have this. Other hand, how are my players supposed to get through?
No, this isn't the room with portraits.
The portrait is after that door.
Is it?
Because I had to finally let you guys get past through some convoluted means.
Okay.
And then that's when to go through the notes. Yeah. You found the painting.
Yeah.
And that's when you use your anti-magic field. And Celeste fell out of it. The really hot woman from the Cusp of Sunrise that hired the party to go back, get the dwarf back. And now, Lotion, his entire thing is that he was hired by an archmage that was friends with Celeste to go find Celeste and bring her back. This was great because I wasn't going to allow Hannah to play both Nails and Laoshin. So she could keep Nails and Laoshin had no reason to stay around anymore. So then they went through the next door and found Valentru casting this evil ritual to make him into a half-demon. And they killed him within one round. This enemy, who should have been one of the final bosses, they took down in 6 seconds.
Well, because we all got good rolls.
Yep.
And when he was going through his eye beams, he crit failed at like the third one.
Yeah.
Because what? He hit someone with one of them.
Georgiana.
Yeah, hit Georgiana with one of them. Failed to affect one of them. He tried hitting me with a kill your friends.
Yeah.
But at that point, I had immunity to compulsion. So he was like, kill your friends. I was like, fuck you.
Yep. So they killed him really quick. Came back up. Striders of Farline were cleaning up. And Mirthan, the head of the Striders of Farline, was hanging around. And Doc went over him, and they started interacting. And Doc and Mirthan were talking about having guild houses. Doc really wanted Valentru's house because it was nice, wooden, had elven architecture. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Valentru was in a half-elf suit.
Oh, that's right.
This was not really very well fleshed out much in the rest of the campaign, so I kept calling him human time and time again. Oh, yeah. I had to tell the players something, because he has a library with half-elven society stuff in it.
And at the time, all of us, including him, still thought he was human, so we're like, why does he have this?
What's a half-elf?
Is he a half-elf inside of a human suit with a beholder inside of him?
Because here's my reason why I thought he was human. Most of the rest of Cauldron is human. Like, I can look it up right now and tell you the percentage, because the nice thing about D&D is they're obsessed with population percentages in each city you'll run into. So, just looking through the beginning, let's see if they even mentioned in Valentru's... Oh, look. Beholder masquerading as human noble, because that's a half-elf. Cauldron, 79% human, 2% elven, 1% half-elf. I had no reason to think this guy was half-elf, but he turns out in this chapter, like, oh yeah, he's a half-elf. And he has stuff about half-elven society. A society of a half-race, which first of all, you gotta have a half-elf and a human be okay with the idea of making love with each other to produce a child.
I'm okay with that idea. Just saying.
So, at any rate, rant about Valentru's side, Doc really wanted House Valentru. So he turned to Mirthan and was like, you want House Rivaldi? It's up for grabs. A nice big stone house for the sole reason that the PCs can't burn it to the ground. I'm sure of it. That's the reason why that house made out of stone. House Valentru, everything was in the basement. So if you burned down the house, you still had all the stuff in the basement, including Valentru to deal with. So, any rate, meta plotting aside, that's how they split up the houses. And this leads us into chapter 9. How are we doing on time?
We are okay with time. Keep going.
So chapter 9, I made the mistake of leaving this laying around, which the players saw, and they were like, why is there a dragon over a flaming cauldron? I'm very strict about my players keeping in character and only using in character knowledge. So they had to pretend the entire time they didn't know anything about the dragon, whose name is Hookface, who is this big legend in the area. So Hookface coming down, serious news. Like, if you see Hookface, you're dead. Like, no one messes with Hookface. Keep that in mind for later. So we have a big gathering of all the nobles in town to elect a new Lord Mayor because Valentru's dead. Because while they were off in Acipitus, he killed the previous Lord Mayor in the middle of the night so no one knew and made himself Lord Mayor.
That's how it works, right?
Sure.
Okay.
So the nobles all get together, and they're having a vote, because I decided we have nobles. Nobles get to decide who gets to be the Lord Mayor. Now, by this point, we have Lord Taskerhill, who's the merchant, whose daughter got killed by the Electrum Knights way back.
Oops.
She was razzed, because they have money for that. But he did not like them, so that was marked against them. There's Lord Vanderburen and his wife who showed up because they didn't know only one noble was supposed to show up of each family. And they were kind of wishy-washy and hanging out with Taskerhill. Then, during this time, Doc Axlaxon was made the Earl of Axlaxon. So he participated in it. So that's one vote for whatever the Electrum Knights want. Lady Nolern, who's a noble from the area but lives in another town, showed up. Who's an elf noble, so go figure on that one. Then I had Georgiana's character Amaya show up because her family's noble, so they should get a vote, regardless of the fact that they're penniless now.
Yeah.
And then, since this guy is descendant of the guy who made the entire area, and he has a sacred weapon, because all the nobles have one sacred weapon per family.
Made out of what, star metal, was it?
Yep, star metal. A material from the Dragonlance saga that I said, that's kind of cool. I'll take that. So all the nobles, each family had a star metal weapon, which proclaimed their nobility. So going into it, he had almost all the votes. And then this guy claiming to be the descendant of House Rivaldi shows up. And constantly trash talks. And it looks like there's a 3 versus 3 vote. Because the Vanderborens, the Taskerhills, and this Rivaldi guy are all voting for Taskerhill to become the next Lord Mayor. And he, Amaya, and Doc are voting for Doc to become the next Lord Mayor.
Yeah.
Nolern is sitting impassively. And then she's like, well, I think in all fairness, my vote should go to, and then woof! Crazy sorcerer and assassins.
Yep.
Or not assassins, but berserkers.
Invisible berserkers.
Invisible berserkers. So this is a big fight. For whatever reason, this is the hardest fight they ever had.
Because we start off surrounded by invisible berserkers who are hasted.
Yeah, and you didn't have half your party.
And we didn't have only part of the party show up because only the nobles needed to show up.
I pulled a MacGuffin, and I had Jenya, who was spying in, be like, whoa. Or actually, no, Jenya was there. Because the 2 heads of churches were represented.
Yep.
As non-voting members. So Jenya cast a spell of summon the rest of the party into the room.
I love that spell.
Yeah.
I love that MacGuffin.
I was like, no, we're evening the fight. Story-wise, this makes much cooler. So they fight. They kill the Rivaldi guy as well, because he was trying to kill you guys.
Yeah.
Doc actually died.
Splattered.
Yes,
You got
splattered.
splattered.
They killed the Rivaldi guy who then reverted to a drow elf. So, haha, that guy was a liar. And Lady Nolern was fighting alongside with her weapon, which was like a lance, kind of being ineffective, but occasionally scoring a hit or 2. She was just a noble.
Yeah.
But, so, they get through the threat, they bring Doc back to life. And Lady Nolern's like, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I cast my vote for Doc Axlaxon.
Don't forget that you actually got
So,
oh
yeah, during that, thank you for pointing that out. Axel got killed by a disintegrate spell.
Finally. Chapter 9.
Problem with that. I didn't have a player's handbook in front of me, so I had someone else read me the spell. They read me the spell wrong. So Axel died when he should not have died. I wasn't okay with this, and in all fairness to an animal companion that survived this long, I had to do something.
Oh, but hold on to that thought.
I will.
Okay, let's go to the next part.
And now we're back, and you've just heard everything that I did with Axel after his unfortunate demise. So, now at this point, it's Doc's first day as mayor.
It's his first day!
And Calderon is on a volcano still, and it explodes. Like, it erupts. There are tremors every now and then. PCs had heard about that. And it erupts, and everything goes to hell, literally. I split up the party, actually, at this point. Because they split up in different directions to try and evacuate the city. This was, actually, as DM, this was my favorite part of the campaign. Dealing with the lava vents, the fissures that would open up and swallow people, saving the villagers.
You mean the fissures that would open up and not do anything?
Oh yeah, because you were with...
I was with Fang.
You were with Fang,
and
you cast Airwalk.
I had Airwalk. He was a bird.
Yeah.
And every time he would roll for like random, what would happen to us or try to happen to us if it was like an enemy or something would open up or lava. We kept getting fissures. And as we were both in the air, we would just see a fissure, be like, huh, glad we're not on the ground, and just keep going.
And there was a lot of saving villagers from the magma, from the fissures.
And my favorite is the demon. Because don't forget, demons were raining from the sky.
Yes. As the portal to Kasseri was starting to open.
Yes, but the portal's opening way up there. The ground is way down there. There's literally a rain of demons, and not all of them survived the fall. They would just be... Huh. Well then, that's the thing. So one of the actual ones that could fly, started, I can't remember what he was doing to the townsfolk, but he was like, oh my god, townsfolk in danger. So we went down there, and I just stopped you from doing something because I was like, no. I've been waiting 3 friggin' weeks to do this spell. I'm gonna do it. So use banishment. Was it banishment or dismissal? I think it was dismissal. I think it was dismissal, where it's just like, I make a roll and I can push them back to their plane of existence. Actually, but no. when I explain the spell to Sean, because this is in the spell, it also says there's a 20% chance they won't go to their home plane and they'll go to a random plane. And I told that to Sean, knowing Sean would have fun with that.
And these are people who played my campaigns before. And I love the Ponyloft campaign a lot. Especially when how it ended with Count Strahd having a new royal court of Lyra, Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie. And so I narrated this for the sake of my players. Meanwhile, in Castle Ravenloft, Count Strahd and Lyra were sitting down to dinner. And Lyra started cutting into her dinner when all of a sudden a big demon lands on the table, upsetting everything. Lyra turns to Strahd, slams her hooves on the table and says, I hate this place! And then storms off to her room. And Strahd's like, ugh. Cut back to the players.
Yeah, cut back to, real life.
Yeah.
Oh, that felt good to do.
My campaigns still go on in my head sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Lyra.
So we evacuate as many people as possible.
And then, as they're getting to the outskirts, finally, they fight. Well, you didn't fight that guy because you killed him in the lake.
Yeah, the lake monster would have come out and started attacking people.
But he was already dead.
Yeah.
Finally, Hookface comes flying in. And I, of the party, have this big epic fight with Hookface that lasts another 6 to 12 seconds. They kill the legendary dragon that everyone's afraid of.
Don't forget the spell that allowed them to do it.
And
don't forget it landed on someone though.
Oh yeah, it landed on someone.
But I can't remember who was it. Fang?
Voltorb.
No, it was Voltorb. Okay, Voltorb.
Yeah, so
it landed on Voltorb because he specifically noted that he was underneath Hookface, stabbing him in the air, and so Hookface came. Blup.
Yeah,
we weren't in a big hurry to get him out either.
But they killed the dragon. They're like, woo, that felt good.
Oh wait, don't forget his bib.
Oh yes, he had a cloak of resistance, a human-sized cloak of resistance. So I said it was tied around his neck like a bib. This is a huge dragon. So they evacuated the town and they went to Red Gorge, where they had interactions with the merchant who's organizing the tax riot. riot, protest, whatever. And they're good enough with them, and they met up with Jenya, and they were discussing, okay, we got to go stop the cage raids. And so they go, and they're looking through other notes they stole from Valentrier's place, and comparing other notes, and they find out that the cage raids have been hiding this entire time.
Guess where?
Underneath the Underdark, which is underneath the Malachite Fortress, underneath Zazardune, which is underneath Cauldron. 500 years, new civilization on top of the ruins of Cauldron.
On top of the new ruins of Cauldron.
So, they go down into the Fire Sanctum. I started removing encounters at this point because I was hurting cats too much with my players, trying to organize them to meet to play games. I was at the point where I was like, we need to draw this to a close because it's to the point where having encounter after encounter is getting
Yeah.
And it was so high level that the battles were taking forever. And plus, I can't justify the fact that one of the cage raids was allowed his entire mercenary army when the other cage raids are all paranoid and crazy. They're not really notable encounters. A couple fights. Sort of wholly avenging that they found randomly lying around.
Yeah, from the Minotaur.
That was good loot.
The Minotaur, like, fucked us up at the beginning, though, because he jumped us. And,
Yeah.
What, gored... Did he gourd Voltorb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben likes to die.
But they were meandering around, and eventually they found a dragon, which is this hellfire dragon.
He was half something, wasn't he?
No, you guys kept thinking that he was a half black, half red dragon, but no, he's his entire own type of race of dragon.
Oh.
It's just that, in terms of your character knowledge, you'd be inclined to think half black, half red. Oh look, Doralon had sex with a red dragon.
Big surprise!
Wouldn't be a shocker.
No, but what kind of dragon was he?
He was a Molten Wing. I'm not even sure what book that's from. But
If anyone knows, or wants to know, it's a Molten Wing. Let us know what the fuck that means if you do.
So at any rate, it turns out this dragon has been in the area for like eons. It used to terrorize it when it came from its own hell plane. And was planning to go up and terrorize the city of Cauldron again at some day. Once again, worst area to live in. The real estate cost must be astoundingly good though. Like, Cerebar Spellmason must have come upon this mountain and someone would be like, dude, this mountain I will totally sell to you for 50 gold pieces. Because that's how much that place sucks to live. So at any rate,
He refused to listen to anyone that wasn't a noble. I remember that much.
yeah, and so he got won over by talking to Doc X Laxon. Voltor was running his mouth, and
So was Fang.
yeah, and they got disintegration rays shot at them because that's what molten rings shoot for their breath weapon.
Actually, no, it didn't hit
but-
that thing.
You'll get your turn to talk in the next video. People off screen. Anyway, so eventually they cut a deal, and he gives them the magical MacGuffin, which turns off the tree shackly thing, which doomsday. They go around, they find some guy who's like all like, "Ah, you're so filthy," and they kill him because he was too metro for their taste.
Yeah, that.
Keep going on. They cast invisibility on themselves. Walk into the room with a big tree of shackled cages, and there's a demon that had cast invisibility on himself. Dog casts the invisibility. He looks straight at the demon. The demon looks straight at them. They flip each other off. And then combat starts. They kill him. And then they shut down the tree. The tree, which is the source of power for the planar junction ritual, which can open up the rift to Kasari. They shut it down but at the same time, it's crumbling the layer they're in. So they portal out of there because they had talked to a wizard and
We planned it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We poof.
poof. And they come back and you know what? They're good. So then they rest up.
No,
Wait.
no. Because as soon as we get back, Ginny says, look outside.
Yep. And Lord Valatrus come back from the dead because according to this book, when he died, his soul was swept up into Cassari during the Planar Junction ritual, meshed around a bunch. Adamarcus, remember that name from when they were trekking through Accipitus to become the new Lord of Accipitus? Yeah, apparently he's the Demon Prince of Insanity. He warped Valatrus' soul, threw it into Accipitus, Valatrus got resurrected somehow, made the new Lord of Accipitus, and then came back to hunt down the PCs.
So we have a beholder demon thing with a burning eye in the center. So we go, after him because obviously people are being turned to stone, disintegrating. So we run outside, and he just basically comes around a corridor where we have nowhere to go outside of his anti-magic ray, and he more or less obliterates the party until Jenya kind of leans out, like literally opens up a window, leans out, and dismissals him.
Yep.
So we're like, oh, thank God.
Otherwise it would have been...
Yeah, we
Man.
would. We would.
This
so done.
was a scripted encounter, by the way. I wish I had skipped it. I wish I would have said, that's too stupid. But I didn't. But at any rate, so the party gets rezzed, unstoned, everything else.
We go find stuff in Hook's
Yeah.
place to gear up.
So they're looking for that. Before then, you guys had the ultimate Wacky Wizzo shopping experience.
Oh, yes.
Which, since Wacky Wizzo's shop in Cauldron was destroyed, they managed to bring along the roll-up door, which they put up like a poster on a wall, which the doorknob pops out, opens it up, and it's Wacky Wizzo's. I love this guy. And one of the items they bought before going to fight the Cage Rights and shutting down the tree was this Vest of the Archmagi from the magical book of magic items of awesomeness. Whatever it's called.
Magic Item Compendium.
Magic Item Compendium, thank you. Which, in the description of it, lists all the things. It's like, and this is what this vest would be like if you could actually find one, because it's a legendary thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm running a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. If I want something mystical and otherworldly, I don't want the description underneath it to be like, and this is an item that nobody has known to exist. Well, it must, if I have stats for it, if I know the price for it, which is 100,000 gold pieces.
So we got that.
Yep. I get upset at D&D for their description sometimes, as you might notice. So, this trip around, Wacky Wizzo, has a special deal for them. Because the Star of Justice tells them to do this special deal with Wacky Wizzo. So they put all of their magic items that they're not using and all their money down to get one of 3 boxes.
Oh no, that's not it yet.
That was after.
That's after.
That's
this
after.
is for the cudgel.
Oh, the cudgel.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a bunch of stuff for the cudgel that never forgets. Which is a magic item from Magic Item Compendium, which is a relic of St. Cuthbert, which you point at someone, and it tells you all of the sins they've committed.
Kind of wish we had more fun with that.
Ben's character, Voltor, got that.
He started pointing at people.
That thing got us in so much trouble. Or
It
got
did.
them to so much trouble.
And it also got a +5 if the person attacked you
Yep.
previously.
So it's a nice cudgel, but... So they go off, and they go to Hookface's lair, because hey, there's an unguarded dragon's lair. They talk a lot about, in this book, about things that you should encounter at Hookface's lair, but it never fleshes it out. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. And I've been reading a lot of the Dragonlance novels again. I love that series in my youth, and I've decided that, you know what, it's been a good decade or so, more than that actually, since I last read them, so I want to read them again, and I've been enjoying them. Ben has also been reading them, and my next campaign is going to be the Dragonlance, War of the Lance. So, you know what? I thought I'd throw in some Draconians guarding the lair. So the Draconians were there. They had a fight. They kind of tried negotiating. It didn't work well.
I remember one took a swing and just completely whipped it. Like the other one looked at him like, "Dude, what the hell?" I'm sorry for my friend. He didn't really try and take a swing at you.
Yeah.
It's his first day.
Yeah. Yeah, this is during the negotiation. Like, a Civac Draconian, these large dragon men, took a huge swing at someone. And the guy's like, did a bluff. What are you doing? Stop that. Yeah.
You'll be fired.
Yeah. And the guy was like, it's my first day. Any rate, so they killed the Draconians and had fun with the death throws. And the party actually enjoyed that because it was something unique and different that they hadn't dealt with. So I enjoyed the encounter. They enjoyed that. They got the stuff because during this time, Sybil had hit a bit to Cauldron to set up a ritual to set a trap for Valentru so they could just be done with them.
Yeah.
And they got this artifact called the Moaning Diamond, which is this artifact from the Dungeon Master Guide, which allows you to reshape stone and earth and do these other things and summon a medium earth a elder earth elemental to serve you. And so I was like, that's cool. Doc was like, yoink! As mayor of the city, I'm rebuilding with this.
And through that, he eventually got both a golem and a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. They also got a greater stone golem creation manual, which, using the Moaning Diamond, made the body for it, so they used the manual. So they have a greater stone golem and an elder earth elemental hanging out with the party. And I'm just kind of like...
Word. So we head back, and we find someone there. Yep.
So there's one villain in Dragonlance I love. Actually, two. And both of them were there. Gitaria... Uthmatar's Dragon Ski, or Calandris, if you go into 5th Age, is my favorite dragon of all time from any literature. So Calandris was there, and Lord Soth, who's another one of my favorite characters. And they were talking. And Lord Soth is a neat figure, and he went through his entire thing, and he started talking about, like, escaping from Ravenloft, because I love Ravenloft. When Ravenloft got sold to White Wolf, Lord Soth was removed because he was copyrighted under the Dungeons and Dragons license. And so I had some reasons behind that, and Calandris came with him, and da-da-da. And then, like, they started, getting into a my life is worse thing, with, like, being like, look, my city was just destroyed. And he was like, yes, well, my entire civilization was destroyed when a mountain thrown by the gods hit my planet. And, like, actually, I think one of the characters said, boo-hoo-hoo, which is hilarious, because actually that mountain was all Lord Soth's fault. So, eventually they negotiate with him, and they're like, GTFO, and he's like, okay, cool, I'm gone. I'm just going to take my new wife with me. And they were like, new wife? And he talked about Sybil.
You don't get a succubus. You don't get that.
No. Doc is extremely possessive. So Doc had to fight Lord Soth.
Well, all of us fought.
Yeah. So he went down like a chomp. Because the party was that high level.
At this point we were geared, leveled. We had a druid. That's all you need to say is we had a druid.
Godzilla's cleric and druid working together. It's messy. So they took him down.
Why wasn't that busted?
Yeah. Went into House Valentru. I'm sorry, let's draw the line through Valentru and write House Knights of the Electrum Dragon, or Knights of the Electrum Dragon Guild Hall.
Time for this one. Oh, actually, we're approaching. That's what. So before we get into Valentru,